Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another computer science lecture. So the last thing we discussed was stack and okay, this we all did. Insertion sort we did. We okay. This is something that we did not discuss in our last class. You can use a simple isEmpty variable and a bool function in order to check whether a stack is empty or not. For example, if I make a stack like stack equals to, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 40, and then if I apply make a isEmpty variable, okay, no, that's something else, not this, equal to, I can just write it like this, not bool and then stack. Now what will this bool function do? This bool function will return true if it finds any value or values in this stack, and it will return true false if it does not find anything over here. Now as you can see, we have 1 2 3 4 elements over here. So when I run it, it will return false, that stack is not empty. Bool function returns true if there is a value in the stack. So I put a not outside it so that if there is a value, it will return false, that it is not empty. Now if I do it like this, see what happens. It will return true, that stack is empty. If you have initialized stack with something like I have made 3 blank values, let's see what it does now. Again, now it says that the stack is not empty because there is some initial value in the stack. So you can only use this if you haven't even initialized the stack. Otherwise, it will return true. Similarly, if you want to print the length of a stack, then you can simply use the length function. See, it says the length is 3. Even though these are just initial values, these are just blanks, but still it says the length is 3. But if I erase this, now it will say stack is empty and the length is 0. How to declare a queue? Again, queues can be declared just like a stack or a array, and technically for queues, okay, for stack, for queue, for linked list, follow the instruction of the examiner as your top priority. Whatever variables or pointers examiner asks you to make in the question, follow that. Otherwise, in journal, you're going to need a front pointer, a rear pointer or end pointer, and a queue length variable. Okay, am I okay? So instead of rear pointer, you can create end pointer as well. Okay, and then the next thing is examiner would sometime ask you to write an enqueue operation. So this is the code for an enqueue operation, and what it is going to do, it is going to take data as a parameter from you. It is going to take my queue, the name of your queue, rear pointer, and queue length, cause if some value is added into the queue, the value of rear pointer as well as queue length will be updated. So you'll need to write these value back onto the relevant variables. So now what you are going to do is, what the function will do, that if queue length is equal to length of my queue, that means there is no empty space. You'll just output an error, queue is full, return rear pointer and queue length. Or you can also introduce if you have to, if the examiner in the paper says you have to show an appropriate error, so you can return false over here as well. you can do it like this: false, rear pointer q length, rear point. And in the otherwise, if this is not the condition, then what you'll do rear pointer equals to rear pointer plus 1. You'll increase it at that location, you'll store data. Okay, and then you'll add 1 to q length, then you'll return true rear pointer and q length. Then you'll run the function enqueue data. Mike, you'll provide it with the proper variables. Oh, spelling mistake. Now what I need to do is I need to take an input in the data variable, otherwise I cannot provide it as a parameter. Enter a number to add to the queue. I'm just taking a number, okay, and if I'm inputting a number, I'll encapsulate it into in using int function, because normally if you directly use input um, function, Python often interprets whatever you type, even if you type a number, as string data type. And then the return value, let's say we have a variable by the name of SUCCE success, and what else will be returned? Like in this success, this true or false will be stored, then a rear pointer and q length. Rear pointer comma q length. Okay. Okay. You have to be careful about the spellings, otherwise it will generate errors. Okay. So now what this will happen, this will input a number from us, store it in data, then it will provide it as a parameter along with the rear pointer, q size, length and myq, and it will return success. Now I'm directly printing myq. Originally, if you just need to add something into myq, you don't need to return false or true, and you don't need a variable by the name of success. But if you need to show a message that okay, data was successfully added or data could not be added, then you can use this success variable by using a simple if statement. If success equal to let's say false, print data could not be added, else print data added successfully. This is the only scenario where you'll return a true and false, and you'll make a variable by the name of success. Okay, if the examiner did not ask you to return such a message, then you do not need it. Well, basically then it's your choice whether you want to do it or not. Okay, so let's suppose I add 5, and as you can see 5 has been successfully added. I got a message that I added successfully. And if you do not need to do this, then you do not need this, then you do not need to return true or false. You can directly work with the returning rear pointer and q length. See, it still works, so don't sweat it. Q is you would often get in your past papers before, and sometimes slightly variations will be there. Sometimes examiner will ask you to return appropriate message, other times he won't. So I have shown you both ways basically. For the DQ operation, again you can do something like this. For the DQ, the code would be a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm doing over here is that if the length of queue is equal to 0, that means queue is empty. I'll simply output an error. Otherwise, I will take the thing at front pointer position in the queue, store it in item, then I'll make this front pointer element to contain the value none to show that now it has been deleted. Then I'll increase the front pointer and decrease the queue length. And finally, I'll return front pointer queue item, queue length and item. Now, in order to run this thing, first of all, I'm going to run this code. I'm going to enqueue two values 10 and 20 in the queue. Plus, I already have a function running up by the name of enqueue. Then I'll print my queue. Then I'll dequeue a value to show you whether it is working or not. Because yeah, I can randomly show you any piece of code and guarantee you that it will work unless and until I actually run it in front of you. Obviously, you'll be in doubt that whether my code works or not. So this is the entire thing. So let's say I add 5, and then after that I added enqueue enqueue 2 times. 10 and 20 were appended. Then I dequeued the item. Now I have 5 popped out or dequeued, and 10 and 20 are still present in the queue. So for a better view of it, here's the code. You can take a screenshot. Start from over here. You may take a screenshot, and then this one you may also take a screenshot, run it at your end. If you feel any problem, you may contact me. Next is the case for creating a linked list. How do you declare linked list? Now, normally what we do, we declare a class. Now, probably we should have discussed this after object-oriented programming part of Python. But since we don't have a lot of details about object-oriented in our syllabus, so let's just go with it. Remember that linked lists are one of those data structures that cannot be directly implemented. For that, well, since you are at P4, I'm assuming you have already done chapter number 20 and you know what OOP is. If you have not, please go and see my lecture for paper 3, chapter number 20. Over there you will find the portion about object-oriented programming. Stop this video right here, go over there, see the explanation about object-oriented programming. Once you understand it, then come back over here. Anyway, so what we are going to do, we need to create a class by the name of node that will basically consist of two attributes or two data items. One is data, one is the next pointer. Because obviously in every node in a linked list consists of two things. One is the actual value and the other is the pointer, like where is the next value found. Then we will create an array and we will initialize it with the data type or with this class. So it will create an array of from 0 to 9, 10 spaces, where in every element two values can be stored. One is the data and the other one is the next pointer. Start pointer would be -1 for an empty list. Empty list would be 0 because the entire list is empty, so the first free element would be at position 0. So let me just copy paste it over here, and over here this is the code. So far we have just created a linked list, nothing else. Now the part comes where you will need to find an item in the linked list, or to insert an item in the linked list, or to display or printing the items in the linked list. Now before doing any of this, obviously what I would like to do, I am going to manually assign some values to this array. I'm just going to copy it so that when I run these searching or adding searching or this inserting item, it can work. I can do this from this with the help of this function as well, but let's just manually add a few elements. Linked list at the position 0 dot data will be equal to, because that's my first field, let's say it is 1, and linked list 0 dot next pointer, let's say it points to the second position. Then, or let's say it points to the 0 1 2, yeah, second position. Then this is the first position in the list, and let's say, so what I'm trying to do, the first element is at 0th position, and now I'm saying next pointer is 2. This means whatever is stored at the second position, secondary index in the array, that will be the second value in the queue. So let's say the value is 3 and the next pointer is -1. -1 is like a null pointer, that okay, there is no further values beyond this point. I'm going to copy paste it and quickly edit it. So now at the second position the data is 2 and the value is 1. So as you can see, this will be my start pointer, okay, the 0th position, and then the next pointer or the next position is 2, and from there this is the third position, and at this point the linked list will stop. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to update the values of start pointer will start at 0 and empty list will start at 3. Now I'm going to find, and I'm run the code for this. How do I find an item in a linked list? I'll make a function by the name of find, or find, search, whatever you want, your choice, or just follow whatever examiner has given it in the question. Well, thankfully there was just one question about linked list in 2021. Other than that, examiner has not really given linked list ever again. So now you'll need to provide it with 3 parameters. One will be the item that you want the function to search, or you can just input it inside the function as well, your choice. A linked list, obviously you'll need to provide it that, and a start pointer. So let's just check this out. So item, okay, then first of all current pointer will become start pointer. Current pointer will be a local variable over here. If current pointer is not equal to -1, or as long as it does not become -1, we are going to keep on searching the list. How? In the linked list, the array, at current pointer dot data, we are going to extract the data aspect of this position, and then we'll compare it with the item. If they are same, return true. Otherwise, whatever is the value in next pointer, at that location you'll add it to current pointer, so the loop can reiterate and check the next element. And if this entire thing fails, just return false. So for running this, first of all I'm going to run this. I'm going to ask the user to input a number to find, and I'll make it integer. Then I'll run this find function and I'll directly print the answer, item, linked list, start pointer. Let's see whether it will output our desired result or not. So let's run it. Enter your number to find. Okay, I'm going to search for 2. True, it was found in the list because I do have 2 over here. Now let's search for something that obviously does not exist, like 8. False, it is not found. This is a very easy version of a find algorithm, find code in Python for linked list. You can do it in many different possible ways, so don't worry about it. I'll try my best to provide you a simple solution, because in exams you're not trying to prove yourself as a pro programmer. You don't have 10 years of experience of a software as a software engineer. You would want to do things in efficient and less time consuming way. If you know Python to the advanced level, you are very well versed in it, programming is your second nature, then sure, go ahead. You can otherwise please refrain from writing in the comments that hey, my teacher did it with the long way. In my school we are supposed to write 8 lines of code for this. Why are you doing it in 5 lines? I'm trying to make your life easy, because literally in paper 3 and paper 4 you're running against time. Okay, you're running against time. Okay, now how about if you want to insert an item in a linked list by using a code? Now I can understand if you find it difficult to read, so I'll just copy and paste it over here. So what would happen, I'll make a function by the name of add node. I'll provide it the array as a parameter, start pointer and empty list pointer. I made it by the name of, yes, I made it by the name of empty list. First of all, I'll ask the user to add a value and I'll store it in a variable like data to add or data. Then I'll check if empty list is -1, then I cannot add any elements. I cannot add because that means my list is already full. So what I'll do, I'll simply print list is full. Okay. Then what I'll do, I'll simply return start pointer, empty list and false. Now you can return false first and these two later on, doesn't really matter. Then if this is not the case, then what you'll do, new node pointer will become empty list. Whatever was stored in empty list, you'll treat it as the pointer for the new node. Empty list will become linked list, empty list, next pointer at your current position. Like over here I have values till the second index array, then the third index array would most likely point to the fourth index array. So whatever is the next pointer value at the next array element, most likely 4, I will take that and store it in empty list because that value will now become the first blank element in the list. Then what I'll do, at the new node pointer position in the data, I'll store whatever new value I want to add, and in the next pointer value or the next pointer field, I'll make it -1 to show this is the new last element in the list. If start pointer is -1, then what you'll do, you'll add new node pointer to start pointer because that means that this is the first element in the array that you're adding. Otherwise, start pointer will become current pointer, and if the next pointer in the current pointer position is not equal to -1, then you'll simply move next pointer into current pointer. Finally, after the while loop, you'll add the new node pointer that we created in the beginning. What we'll do, we'll move it into the next pointer value so that everything is absolutely where it is supposed to be. Finally, we'll return start pointer, empty list and true. True to show that whether we successfully added something or not. If you don't need to show an appropriate message, then you do not need to output true and false. Let's run this function and see how it works. So it is going to return start pointer, empty list, and let's say a variable by the name of success, and this will be add node. It was okay, small. And what is it? Okay, I'll just copy the parameters from over here because if I try to write them again, I might make a typing mistake. Okay, and after all this, let's just try to print the new this linked list. Okay, now let's run this function and see how it goes. Enter your number to okay. Let's say 2. Enter the data to add. Okay, I forgot to remove that part of the code before running this part. Okay, let's say I want to add a 5. Okay, so 5 is more like, see, now this is what I wanted to show you. You cannot directly print a linked list by using the print function. Okay, our value has most likely been added, but if you try to print it, it will give you a problem. So what you can do, you can use this, that if success equal to true, value added to the list. Like I said, I'll deliberately be messing up at places in order to show you what can go wrong during your exam and how to fix that. But yeah, sure, if you want to take it as I don't know my codes and I don't know how Python works, or I don't care, you can assume that, I don't mind. Else a value couldn't be added. So now it should tell us that now we cannot directly print a linked list using the print function. I just displayed that to you. So now what should happen is that if we say added something successfully into the linked list, it would show us this value, otherwise it would show us this. So I'm just going to remove this part, the find function. We don't need that anymore, and let's just see whether our add node function works or not. So let's say I want to add an 8 value added to the list. That means our function runs successfully. Now comes the part that okay, fine, you cannot use the built-in print function to display a linked list. So what the hell can you do to display all the items in a linked list? You'll need to create a function for that. Display list, print list, whatever you want. For that you are going to need a linked list as your parameter and the start pointer. First of all, you'll put a start pointer into the current pointer. Then what you'll do, linked list, and you'll print this message. Then as long as current pointer do not become -1, you'll keep on printing whatever is the data at the current position. You'll print that, and then whatever is the value of the next pointer, you'll go there and then you are going to print that. So I'm going to copy this code. I already have values over here, and now I'm directly going to run this code. I've added this end thing so that after printing a data, it can show this sign, so you can see it very beautifully. This is not necessary, you can just print this much, it is fine, but this will, you know, give a very good visual representation of a linked list. Otherwise, if this happen, then you will print none. Okay, so start pointer, no, add node we don't need. Display list, linked list, start pointer, this we need. Okay, let's run it and see what happens. Enter the data to add, let's suppose 8. Values added to the list, linked list 1, 2, 3, 8, none. Why is it showing 1, 2, 3, 8? If you remember, if you remember, I had already stored the value 1, 2, and 3 in the linked list, and now by using the add node function I just added 8, so it is showing me that. Now if you might want to skip this part, I'm going to see, this is a manually initialized linked list. I'm just going to run this again and show you the output. Okay, see, 1, 2, 3, none. What does this none mean? Blank element, there is nothing more. Now you can slightly modify this as well, but trust me, this is a very efficient and very short version of displaying list code. So this you can use if you want to display a linked list. Hopefully you are with me till here. Now the last thing we do in a linked list is how to delete items in a linked list. So for that, code is this and this. Let me and this as well. Deleting something from a linked list is takes some effort. So I'm going to override this. If you needed the code, hopefully you have taken a screenshot. Now, okay, let me show you one more thing. If I don't do this, what would happen? Well, nothing would happen. My linked list would still print. It would just not have, see, it shows my elements in the list vertically, and it does not show the beautiful arrow that was giving us a visual representation of the link, or a visual, you can say a visual link. Again, you write your code like this, or you write your code with the arrow sign to make it visually appealing. Examiner, in both cases, as long as your function runs and gives an appropriate output, examiner will give you equal amount of marks. But then again, there is something that is known as code sense. Some codes are just built better than the other. If you're aiming for a distinction, you might want to, take care of these little things, impress the examiner a bit. Okay, so finally we are delete. I made a function by the name of delete node. I'm going to provide it with my linked list, start pointer, empty list, and item. I need to tell it which item to delete. It cannot just randomly delete an item. Or at least from Cambridge examiner's point of view, we are going to try that. So if start pointer equals to -1, this is the first thing you're going to check. Then you're going to say list is empty, so there's nothing to delete. You'll just return start pointer, empty list, and false. Again, this would only come in handy if you want to, after running the function, give an appropriate message. Otherwise you can ignore it. If this is not the case, if a start pointer is not -1, list has something, you'll make start pointer into current pointer, then previous pointer will become -1. As long as the current pointer is not equal to 1, you are going to match the element that you want to delete by using the same if condition that we had in the search function. So if the element is found, you'll make its pointer to be -1, and you'll store the value of next pointer into start pointer. You'll basically just reroute around it, so that value is ignored by the computer. Otherwise, you are just going to move to the next position and check its value, and you will keep on doing it unless and until you find a match. Now what you are going to do, we are not done yet. What you need to do is you are going to add the deleted node to the free list, because whatever is deleted you need to add it to the free list empty list pointer. So empty list will become whatever is the value of pointer at your current pointer, and current pointer will go in empty list. Then you'll return start pointer, empty list, and true. Previous pointer will become current pointer, and it will become the value of this. Otherwise you'll print not find and this. But hold on, we have more to do. Item to delete equals to integer input, enter item to delete, start point. This is how we run the function and store it into relevant variables. If success, print deleted successfully, else deletion failed. Display list. Okay, display list. Did I delete the code for display list? Okay, never mind, we'll forget that. Let's run the code and see. So now we have three values, 1, 2, and 3. Let's try to delete 2. Deleted successfully. Now empty list pointer points to the second position. Why? Because that position has been successfully, this is the position that contains the number 2. Okay, so hopefully so far you have understood how to deal with linked lists and queues successfully. We'll continue this in our next class. I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Hopefully that would be our last lecture in this series of P4 basic Python lectures, or maybe the second last, who knows. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.